Today we're talking about food, and that is the stuff that you don't put in your mouth until you ask someone you know.
Or shove in your face.
Yeah, nutrition. So when you run, you probably want to eat food. It's probably a good idea. And drink water too. So those are the two important things. That's the end of the episode. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. And I'd just like to add before we finish, you should probably have it every day, not just when you run.
Yeah, skipping a meal never killed anyone, but skipping a day without food is probably not a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, have a good one.
So what do you usually eat just in general, Liam? Like what's your daily routine for eating?
Everything. I eat everything and lots of it. And for me, the more the better. I don't know
Okay.
what, I don't really know the difference between bad food and good food, which is why I can't cook because it all tastes good to me. If there's a lot of it and it's cheap, it's good food. Um, I I guess I'm not at a point in my life where I'm limiting anything. So yeah, just whatever I can get. Lots of cheap buffets, lots of rice, lots of all the leftover rice mixed with all the leftover sauce and just make more. And yeah, that's how I live. How about you?
So in a nutshell, random stuff is your diet.
Basically, whatever I can get, whenever I can get it. And I
A
make
little bit of
lots of
everything.
mistakes and regret it. Yeah.
Uh, I think I'm on the other end of the spectrum. I eat pretty much the same thing every day,
Okay, that's good.
at least lately. So we have a cafeteria at the company that I work at, and they have a really great breakfast where you just like pick and choose all the things that you want. Kind of like buffet, but you don't take it yourself. There's someone there to give you like you ask for however many eggs you want, however many steamed buns you want, and so on. And you can get a big plate of food for $2. So my breakfast each day is like $1.94 for like three eggs, and they even have vegetables. So I can tell you exactly what my breakfast is: three boiled eggs, not the tea eggs because they're high in sodium. One bowl of soy milk. It comes in a bowl in China. And
Ooh,
then three dishes of vegetables. They change every day. And then is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, that's my breakfast. And then lunch, I have 100 grams of beef. So it comes in like a little vacuum package. You can buy it by the case. One of those, a protein shake with 300 milliliters of milk. And the scoop of protein, I think, has it's usually about 30 grams of protein. That and then 50 grams of mixed nuts. So, cashews, um, walnuts, whatever all those nuts are, and so on. And that's my lunch. And between meals, I'll have a snack like every hour. I kind of spread it out as much as I can. So I'm not sitting for as long. And so those snacks are respectively a banana, an apple, and then two. This is going to sound really weird if you've heard it for the first time. Liquid salads. So it's a little
okay.
pouch, and one of them is green and has like avocado and all kinds of I don't know kale and stuff in it. I think it tastes fine. I gave one to a coworker, and she's like, "This is gross." So last time I shared with her, and the green one is really high in fiber and vitamin C, and then the red one is really high in and it's got like 9 grams of protein and then uh, some other vitamins. So it's basically like a pack of vitamins and nutrients. And yeah, so those are the four things. And then for dinner, I also eat at the cafeteria. And they have this one, we have like 50 different stalls where you can get all kinds of food from all over China. And there's even like Subway and McDonald's and a Tim Hortons.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, we have a Tim Hortons at work. And I work in China, by the way. Yeah, so it's even more random. And then, yeah, so this place you can get meat by weight. So they have chicken breast. One serving is 50 grams. They'll get two servings of that. It's 100 grams of chicken breast. And then they have like a dozen different vegetables, and it's all just like steamed, no oil, no salt or anything like that. So I'll get like a so different mix of like five different vegetables, and then the rice they use is purple rice. which is really high in fiber. And yeah, so it's super healthy and super nutritious. And there's not a lot of like the stuff that comes with tasty food that isn't good for you, like all the sauces and stuff like that. All the sauces are low fat, low sodium. Yeah, so that's what I eat during the week. And I do a bit of running on and off throughout the week. But more importantly, when it comes to race time, that's when nutrition is super key, right? So,
That's when
what
it's
do you
super
eat
key.
before races?
I have changed a lot. I used
Okay.
to always have a full pizza right before a race. Do
Change
not
your mind on
recommend
that.
it. My experience changed my mind. Um, yeah, it'd be the night before was half, and the morning of, as I walked to the race, would be the other half.
Leftover pizza.
Some kind of full. Yep. I think the most impressive thing is I had left enough to have the next day. But yeah, that's not something I recommend. Now I play it smarter. Um,
Yeah.
if I'm up
You
early
only
enough,
eat a quarter of the
yeah,
pizza after,
yeah,
and then save half of it for after the race.
and during, uh,
Right.
yeah. Now sometimes if I'm very pressed for time, I wake up very late before. I just don't eat, which isn't as bad as I expected. If
Hmm.
I go slow, if I'm trying to go fast, it's a bit different. But for a slow race, there's kind of a like a almost like a meditational. It's not a word. Like a meditative feeling to
Meditative.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eating
Where
pizza. You lost me.
I'm sorry, I'm not eating anything before a
Oh,
run.
okay.
Like a long, everyone has different opinions on everything, but especially fasting, things like that. If I do a very slow, long run in the morning, as recommended by someone a long time ago, to just like really slow to the point where it's not uncomfortable, even though you haven't eaten anything. It just feels kind of like at the beginning, of course, it doesn't
Hmm.
feel great, but near the end, I start to feel, oh, actually, I feel good. I'm not actually that hungry, and it just feels like it cleans up everything. I don't know. I
It's
feel
like a
like,
hunger trance.
yeah, kind of like that. Where after a while, it's comfortable. Um, so sometimes I would do that. But if I do wake up early enough, a few hours before, I'll have something simple, like some, uh, one thing I've recently had, just I put relatively healthy-ish things in a sandwich together, and by what was in the fridge, it ended up being a sandwich, but it was
It's a very
peanut
broad
butter,
definition.
honey, peanut butter, honey, spinach, and garlic,
Hmm.
and I felt great.
How about the people around you?
Not so much. Yeah,
Okay. So it sounds like you get very creative with your meals.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess I just, yeah, whatever's there, I find a way to make it work.
Okay. Uh, so this is for races or for training or both?
Just daily life, I guess. And I guess it could be for races too.
Yeah, I guess you're always training.
I guess so. Yeah.
Do you have any like pre-training routines or habits that you do? Like before you train, you don't eat, or
Oh,
you eat certain things, or just
I
whatever?
don't think I do. I've tried as a type of training, I've tried intense things like just a couple times. I think I mentioned it before of doing a full marathon on like a 36-hour fast.
Mm.
I've tried that as a type
You
of
know,
training.
it's just a homonym. It doesn't actually make you fast.
I know I should have known that. And it being a 37-hour slow. Um,
Found that out the hard way.
yeah. But yeah, that was, and so now that I've done that, now anytime I feel a little bit hungry during a run, I know, oh, I can make it. So I'm not
Mm.
recommending, I'm not saying that's a healthy choice, but for me, that kind of was good for the mental training to try that a couple times.
Okay. Uh, for shorter runs, for speed runs, I don't eat anything. I'll always have coffee in the morning with milk, 100 milliliters of milk. I've started measuring everything now, weighing stuff. People at work think I'm crazy with my scale. They're like, you weigh your food? Yes, got a problem with that. And then Yeah, so that's a really important part of my morning routine, no matter what kind of day is going on, even if it's like a super early race or flight, I'll always have coffee first thing. And then if I'm doing a speed run, then I won't eat anything else. Maybe a banana, because that's the one thing that won't make me feel bloated. But if I eat a whole meal, like with noodles or something, anything heavy, then when I try to run, then I'll feel kind of gross.
So yeah.
So I've tried that before, and yeah, it doesn't really work unless I wait like an hour and a half at least. Yeah, so I try to eat very little, just like light stuff, even if it's a full marathon or something like that. And then right before, I'll have an energy gel. And I don't like to eat a lot of energy gels because I don't think that they're food. But some people they'll do a full marathon and eat like 8 energy gels. Like, okay, sue yourself. Yeah. I'll actually bring those liquid salads with me for longer training runs because they're both food and water, right? They're only like 40 calories each, but that's enough for, a 10-kilometer lap just to keep me going. And then I don't usually eat a lot right after. Usually I'll rest for a bit first and then I'll get hungry. I won't be super hungry right after. Maybe drink like an ISO drink or something like that that has sugar in it, so it replenishes your glycogen stores. Um, and then after I've rested, then I'll have a full meal. Okay, so that brings me to our next question: what do you eat after races? Let me guess, whatever.
Kind of. I don't think I mentioned what I eat during the race yet either. I I can
Mm.
cover two at once, but yes, after the race. Well, I guess I should do during first.
Yeah,
Um,
it's both do during first.
right, during the race, um, I've been, I guess, not quite whatever. I used to do whatever, but I notice sometimes, depending on the race, they're not as, I guess, not as professional about cleanliness. So I noticed some places made me feel sick. And later on, I found out, oh, it's a very small race. So they were just sitting over there on their phone, like one person at the food station. And while they weren't looking, a pigeon came and ate some of the chocolates. And then I could see that from far away. And I had previously put my hand in the chocolates that are pre-opened. So now at
You ate the
small races
pigeon.
like that, yeah, exactly. So yeah, I ate the pigeon. Whoops. Um, I should now at small races, only if it's something unopened, I will take it. Because I know quite often they'll cut it, put it on there. It's like, oh, take half an orange. When really I take four halves, so just give me two unopened boxes. So well, orange is okay, but like chocolates, um, that's an issue. So that's kind of frustrating. I also try to avoid too many in typically I try to avoid too many like not fake foods, but like gels, like you said, unnatural
Mm.
things. I save them for a fast race day. I know it helps to train with them so your stomach's used to it. I also train my stomach by eating crazy amounts of food, like trying to go to a buffet, then running right after, but that's another story. Doesn't really help. Well, kind of does. And yeah, I typically don't have too much during the races because I don't run very fast. Um, but yes, whatever is given by the race is what I will choose. If they give an energy drink or energy gel, I'll take that. I don't have energy drinks. I should mention the only beverage I consume is water. So no coffee, no energy drinks, no electrolyte drinks of any kind. And at a water station, when I grab the water and I drink it, and then I found out it's not actually water and I have to spit it out, it's pretty frustrating because then I have to go another few kilometers before I get water because I made a mistake. Um, but yes, and as for after race, I feel very similar. I also don't eat a lot right after. I kind of lose my appetite right at the end of the race, especially if I was going fast. And it's only a few hours later where I really start to eat
Mm.
a lot of food. And yeah, then for the next few days I'll eat tons. Like the other day I went for a long run and I came back and I had a huge thing of pasta and a whole pizza. And then I just went into a food
In
coma
that
for
order.
12 hours. Yeah. Yeah, usually you do that before the run is carb loading, but I guess I did that backwards.
Yeah.
Anyways,
We've kind of done this whole episode out of order. So carb loading comes before the race, specifically the day before, usually. And that's one thing I've been experimenting with lately, like eating a big bowl of noodles with meat the night before, which is something
Okay.
I won't usually do. I won't usually eat that much carbs. But the night before, it's good to have lots of glycogen stores in your body, and then that will help prevent you from hitting the wall while you're running. So that's carb loading. Do you do that too?
I do. Now I don't really plan it out now because I have carbs every day. I
Mm-hmm.
used to specifically before a race go get huge amounts of pasta, but now I realized almost every day I eat huge amounts of carbs. So
Every
that
day is
helps.
carb load day.
Yes, every day is carb load.
Okay. And then for me during the race, uh, whether I'm training or racing, I'll usually bring water with me. So I have a trail running vest that has a water bladder that holds up to 1.5 liters. Usually I just put like 500 milliliters in it, and then I'm kind of just sipping on it as I go. Uh, One reason is it's just more convenient to have your own water with you. And also you can put like a hat and stuff inside the vest. So it's really handy. And also you don't have to crowd with everybody at the water stations because you already have water. Usually I'll wait till like the last 10K before I start using the water stations. Also, I don't like wasting all those cups. You drink like 100 milliliters of water and then waste a cup. And then if you do that at every station, some have a water station every 2 kilometers, right? So that's 21 cups. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just don't like all that waste. So I like to have my own water with me. You can also get a marathon cup. It's like a little light plastic cup that scrunches up into whatever shape you want. You can stick it in your pocket, and then you can just pour water into that, drink out of that, and then stuff it back in your pocket again. So I'll probably get one of those eventually. And then for food, I don't eat a lot. Oh, bananas. I'll always eat bananas when I see them, uh, and they almost always have bananas, especially most of the races I've done, except for Mongolia. They didn't have crap. They had water, and that was it.
Interesting.
And yeah, I was getting really close to hitting the wall, and some lady had her own table set up with soft drinks, and uh, it was the best 100 milliliters of orange drink that I've ever had before.
Oh,
You've been running for so long, right? And you have like almost no glycogen stores left in your body, so it really came in handy. She was super nice. And then after, so a few hours after the race is when you start to get hungry. And do you usually eat more than you normally would?
oh. If it's within a few hours, I eat less. But if it's more than a few hours later, I eat so much more. So much
Okay.
more. Yeah. So both. How about you?
And yeah, I see it more of as kind of a catch-up meal because you've gone so long without actually eating a
Right.
meal. And a full marathon burns about 3,000 calories, which is more than you would burn in a regular day just being alive.
Yeah, I guess so.
And yeah, so it's normal to be a bit hungrier. Half marathon, maybe I won't be that much hungrier. Yeah, for full marathon for sure. But I usually won't eat more than I normally would in a day on a race day, maybe a little bit more, but not enough to compensate for all the calories I burned during the marathon. So I'm still at a caloric deficit.
No.
And
And
I
when you
also,
finish the race,
yeah, mm, yeah, go ahead.
so when you finish the race, is there something particular you try to eat or just anything?
When I was in Southeast Asia, especially Thailand, I'd always want to have a beer later.
Huh.
And but I don't drink that much beer nowadays. Mm, and I think it's mostly the climate. Yeah, the climate there just makes you want to drink beer every day. Anyway, and yeah, definitely some carbs because you want to replenish and some protein. Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Do you like pay attention to your different macronutrients? like protein, carbs, and fat, or just shove it in my mouth?
I used to be a lot better at this. The time where I had the best
Okay.
times and the most improvement in running, I did have like proteins and I tried some different supplements and things and being consistent with
Mm,
those. Maybe I also because I was consistent with my training, but that was the time I had the most like, PBs and I was really doing well in terms of speed as well and made a lot of improvement, really up my
mm,
mileage and felt great. And I guess I haven't been having those much in the past few years, so I maybe that's one of the reasons I'm not as fast as I was 5 years ago. I don't know, but yeah, I haven't really thought too much about that lately because anything, once you start to dive into it, there's so much you can learn, so much you can get into, and I've just been kind of busy to really get, I guess, engulfed in another subject.
mm. Yeah, let's not get too deep into supplements, but do you remember roughly what you were taking? And do you have any recommendations?
Ooh, yeah. I so since I don't know if I'll recommend this, but since I only drink water, I there's a little kind of a catch where I can't drink protein shakes because it's not water. So I would do is I would take a cup of protein and just and eat it, and
Yeah.
then I would slowly drink water.
Yeah, some people do that
Oh yeah,
just
that's I
for
guess
convenience sake,
oh
not
yeah,
because they're on a
and
several decade water streak or
oh
anything.
yeah, I guess so. So I would choose by taste rather than nutrition content. So I had a lot of
Mm,
peanut butter and chocolate or cookies and cream flavored protein, usually some kind of whey protein. I'm not saying that's the best, that's just what was available and matched my
mm.
taste.
Yeah, protein is definitely a good supplement. I'm also taking omega-3 fish oil
Oh,
and have like a fruit and vegetable powder. You just mix it with
oh,
200 milliliters of water so you can get a lot of the fiber that you would normally get. You'd have to eat a big pile of vegetables. And then kale powder, acai powder, that's the Brazilian purple berry,
oh,
and chia seeds. And I'd also recommend getting some decent vitamins. Like you can get multivitamins at London Drugs or whatever, but the content is usually very low and they're usually missing at least one really important one. So I recommend getting an AI assistant. There are lots of them now. You know, ChatGPT, everyone knows. There's also Gemini and Claude, whatever. And tell them all the training you're doing, and then get it to recommend a vitamin for you.
oh,
Yeah, so that's what
that's
I
very
did.
smart. I have not tried that yet.
Well, this episode was not sponsored by AI,
Or are we AI altogether?
or are we?
Haha,
I'm pretty sure an AI could do this show.
I think so. That would be interesting. We should do AI scripting.
Probably be way better than us. What was this episode sponsored by?
This episode was sponsored by soy milk that you eat and salads that you drink.
And leftover pizza.
And leftover pizza that you, for some reason, consume.
What were you thinking, Liam?
It was carb loading. It was my carb loading cram.
Right. I got
I
a carb
remember I
load. I have a
said that.
race next week.
Yeah, it's actually as I was at the start line, I was remember finishing the pizza. This is my first half marathon. My friend said, "What are you doing?" Hey man, you're supposed to carb
Carb
load.
loading.
That's
You
not
don't
good.
carb load right before the race. Do you even know what
Now I
carb loading
know.
means? Yeah.